5 times 5. So we can count up in 5 times. We have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and because that's the fifth one, we know that 5 times 5 is 25. Now 7 times 11, so we can count up in 11s 7 times. So we have 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, 66, and the seventh one is 77. So that's our answer. But really we shouldn't need to do any working out with the 11 times table, because you can probably spot the pattern that it makes. Now 4 times 4, so we can count up in 4s 4 times. So we have 4, 8, 12, and the fourth one is 16, so that's our answer. Now 42 times 0. Anything times 0 or 0 times anything is going to be 0, so that's our answer. Remember, any number times 1 is just the number, and any number times 0 is 0. 42 plus 6 plus 6. Now for questions like this, I like to add the single digit numbers first and then add the 2-digit number. So we can do 6 plus 6 is 12, and then we've not added the 42, so we need to work out 12 plus 42. 2 plus 2 is 4, 1 plus 4 is 5, so our answer is 54. Now we would have got the same answer if we'd done 42 plus 6, that's 48, and then we could have done 48 plus 6, and we would still have got 54 as our answer, because with addition, order doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter that we did the bit at the end first, because we're doing addition. Now 35 divided by 1. Now this is similar to times 0. You've just got to remember that any number divided by 1 is just that number. So 35 divided by 1 is 35. And if you think about division, you could put this in a word problem. If you've got 35, say 35 marbles, and you put them into one bag, how many marbles would you have in that one bag? Well, obviously you'd have 35 marbles. Now 9,090 minus 1,000. Now we could use the column method for this, but we don't really need to. We can see that we've got 9,000s, we're taking away 1,000, so in our answer we will have 8,000s, and the other digits in the number we were subtracting from will stay the same. But if we're not sure, we can always set it out as a column subtraction. 0 take away 0 is 0, 9 minus 0 is 9, 0 minus 0 is 0, and 9 minus 1 is 8. 35 minus 7 minus 7. Well, let's start with 35 minus 7. We can't do 5 minus 7, so we go to the left, 1 less, 1 in front. 15 minus 7 is 8, 2 minus nothing is 2. So we have 28, but that's the answer to 35 minus 7, and we have another minus 7, so we need to subtract 7 from 28. 8 minus 7 is 1, 2 minus nothing is 2, so our answer is 21. 12 times 8. Well, 10 times a number is easy to work out. We should know 10 times 8 is 80, just put a 0 on the end when you're multiplying 10 by a whole number. And then we could work out 11 times 8 is going to be 8 more, or we could have worked out 11 times 8 straight away if we know the rule for the 11 times table. Now if we add another 8, we get to 96. So 12 times 8 is 96. 2,800 plus 1,100. Well, we can do this mentally because if we look at the hundreds column, we have 800s plus 100, so we have 900s in our answer. And if we look at the thousands column, we have 2,000s plus 1,000, so we have 3,000s in our answer. But if we're not sure, we can always use column addition. 0 plus 0 is 0, 0 plus 0 is 0, 8 plus 1 is 9, and 2 plus 1 is 3. Now 2 times 3 times 5. So 2 times 3, 2 lots of 3 is 6. And then we need to do that number, so we need to do 6 times 5. And 6 times 5 is 30. If you're not sure, work it out by counting in fives. We have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and the sixth one is 30. So that's our answer. Now here we have a missing number subtraction. And because it's not the first number that's missing in the subtraction, we're not using addition, we're actually using subtraction to find the missing number. So we need to work out 550 minus our answer, minus 130. 0 minus 0 is 0, 5 minus 3 is 2, and 5 minus 1 is 4. So our missing number is 420. Then if we wanted to check, we could do the subtraction. We could do 550 minus 420 and check that we got 130 as our answer. So check that what we've written makes sense. But let's move on to the next question. We have 33 divided by 3. Now, if we don't know this, we can use the inverse. We can use multiplication. Now, we know that 10 times 3 is 30, because if you're multiplying 10 by a whole number, you can just put a 0 on the end of it. And if 10 times 3 is 30, then 11 times 3 must be 3 more. 11 times 3 must be 33. And if we know that 11 times 3 is 33, we know that 33 divided by 3 must be 11. So our answer is 11. And this question's similar, 24 divided by 12. Well, we know that 1 times 12 is 12, and if we add another 12, we know that 2 times 12 is 24, so we know that 24 divided by 12 is 2. So that's our answer. Now 63 divided by 9. If we don't know it, we can count up in nines. So 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63. And if you count, we've written 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers. So our answer is 7. And you've probably spotted the pattern. When we write the 9 times table out, we can see the 1s going down in 1 and the 10s going up in 1. Now 7,623 plus 528. So we need to write this out as a column addition, and it's really important that we make sure that our place values are lined up. So we need to line it up on the right hand side so that we have our ones, tens, hundreds and thousands columns lined up as well. Now 3 plus 8 is 11, so 1, 1. 1 plus 2 is 5. 6 plus 5 is 11, so 1, 1. And 1 plus 7 plus nothing is 8. So our answer is 8,151. Now something plus 220 equals 700. So we have a missing number addition, and whenever you have a missing number addition, you always use subtraction to find your answer. So we need to work out 700 minus 220. 0 minus 0 is 0. We can't do 0 minus 2, so we go to the left, 1 less, 1 in front. 10 minus 2 is 8, and 6 minus 2 is 4. So our answer is 480. Then, if we wanted to check, we could write out 480 plus 220 and check that we got 700 as our answer. Now 51 times 7. So we can write this out as a column multiplication. 1 times 7 is 7, and 5 times 7 is 35. If we weren't sure what 5 times 7 is, well, it might be easier to do 7 times 5. So we could count up in fives until we got to our 7th number, and that's 35. So our answer is 357. Now 8,800 minus 900. So we can write this out as a column subtraction. 0 minus 0 is 0, 0 minus 0 is 0. We can't do 8 minus 9, so we go to the left, 1 less, 1 in front. 18 minus 9 is 9, and 7 minus nothing is 7. So our answer is 7,900. 72 divided by 6. Well, we know that 10 times 6 must be 60, because multiplying 10 by any number or any whole number, we can just put a 0 at the end. So then if we add another 6, we have 11 times 6, and then 6 more takes us to 72. So that must mean 12 times 6 is 72, which means if we use the inverse, 72 divided by 6 must be 12. So that's our answer. Now 5 times 6 times 4. 5 times 6 is 30, and if we're not sure of that, it's probably easier to count up in fives 6 times, so we could count 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and the 6th one is 30. So 5 times 6 is 30, but then we have a times 4 on the end, so we need to work out 30 times 4. Now there's a quick way to do this. We have a 0 on the end. We're multiplying a multiple of 10. So let's ignore the 0 for a moment and work out 3 times 4. That's 12, because if we count up in 4 3 times, we get to 12. But if 3 times 4 is 12, then 30 times 4 is 12 with a 0 on the end, so 120. And this is a really good shortcut. If we have a multiplication and we have one end 0 in our question, one number with a 0 on the end of it, then we know that our answer will also have one end 0. So if you look at what I haven't highlighted, we have 3 times 4 is 12, and then because we have one end 0 in the question, we have one end 0 in the answer. So our answer is 120. We did 5 times 6 first to get 30, then we took that 30 and multiplied it by 4, and that gave us 120. Now we've got some fractions, additions and subtraction. Now 1/8 plus 5/8. Now this is easier if we visualize it. There we can see 1/8 of our fraction bar is shaded in blue, and we're adding 5/8. So let's shade 5/8 of our fraction bar in yellow. We can see that we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of our eighths shaded, so our answer is 6/8. And this is really important. When we're adding fractions, if the denominators are the same, we keep the denominator the same in our answer and only add the numerators. And it's similar for subtraction. Again, we can see a fraction bar and we start with 5/7. So we have 5 parts out of 7 of our fraction bar shaded. We're taking away 2/7. So let's take away 2 of our 7ths. We can see that that leaves us with 3/7. Again, just like when we're adding, when we subtract fractions, if the denominators are the same, we leave the denominator the same in our answer and only subtract the numerators. We have 375 times 3. So we can write this out as a column multiplication. We start by multiplying the number in our ones by 3. So we need to work out 5 times 3. If it helps, write out your 3 times table. So we have 3, 6, 9, 12, and the fifth multiple of 3, so 5 times 3 is 15. So that's our first answer line. Now we've done 5 times 3, so we need to work out 7 times 3. But because the 7 is in our tens column, we need to write a 0 in our ones column before we do that, a 0 in our ones answer line. Now 7 times 3, we can carry on our 3 times table. If we add another 3, we get 18 for 6 times, and adding another 3, we get 21 for 7 times 3. So we can write 21 in our second answer line. So now we've done 5 times 3, we've done 7 times 3, so we need to multiply this 3 in our hundreds by 3. But because the 3 is in our hundreds, we need zeros in our ones and tens column before we do 3 times 3, which we can see is 9. So now we add up our answer lines. 5 plus 0 is 5, 1 plus 1 plus 0 is 2, and 2 plus 9 is 11. So our answer is 1,125. There is another way of multiplying, so if we write it out again, we could do it as a short multiplication. So starting with 5 times 3, we have 15, so 1, 5. Then onto our next column, we have 7 times 3, which is 21, plus 1 is 22, so that's 2, 2. And then finally, we have 3 times 3, which is 9, plus 2 is 11, so that gets us our answer. Now, 8,123 minus 3,558. So we need to write this out as a column subtraction. We can't do 3 minus 8 because the number on the bottom is larger than the digit on the top. So we need to go to the left, 1 less, 1 in front. Now 13 minus 8 is 5. On to the next column, we have 1 minus 5, which we can't do. So we go to the left, 1 less, 1 in front, and 11 minus 5 is 6. Now 0 minus 5, again the number on the bottom is larger, so we go to the left, 1 less, 1 in front, and 10 minus 5 is 5. 7 minus 3 is 4, so our answer is 4,565.